Hello, internet friends, and welcome to another episode of Shop Talk. My name is Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about leading through tough times. Our guest today is going to stop by, and he's going to give us some stories and some tips on how to lead a team and how to lead yourself through difficult times. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my guest, three-time Pro Bowl defensive end for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cameron Heyward. Cam, thanks so much for being here. Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. So thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's a pleasure for even being on.
Let's start off by talking about how you've been dealing with the isolation. What have you been doing? How you been keeping busy? What's it like being in the house with little kids all the time?
Man, with little kids all the time, that's an adventure in itself. Love it to death. The surprising thing is I've gotten to spend a lot more time with my family, my wife, my kids, and my kids don't even know what's really going on at the time. So they just think daddy's home all the time. And, we're playing a lot more games. The first week, I feel like we were out in the basketball court for about an hour every day. But, just to pass the time, working out a bunch still, trying to take advantage of this time, stay ready. And then, finding other hobbies. I'm trying to explore podcasting a little bit, see if that's something I want to take up in the future. And then just reaching out to friends and family, making sure they're all good. And it's been nice to, have this time to actually just reach out and see how everybody's doing. You don't get that time often.
We've been talking about leading in tough times and about leading others on your team or leading yourself. How do you approach being in a tough game? Morale's low, your teammates are tired and worn out. What do you tell them to give them hope, to inspire guys when times are tough?
Each guy is different, and you got to approach it that way. Everybody has a different thinking. Everybody was raised differently. Everybody responds differently. So for me, my biggest thing is to be an outlet either way. Whether it's listening, there's certain guys you got to, be a little bit harder on and, almost call them out in a sense, and they respond to that. But there's certain guys that just need to know you got their back. I think you can be an outlet and, listen more than talk. People are going to follow what you do more than what you say. And so when you do that, I think, and everybody sees your actions, whether it's you reaching out to friends or you finding other ways to communicate or, stay busy or find other hobbies, that can go a long way and, set the example for the group.
What was a time that was maybe the toughest game you've ever been in, or like the darkest season that you've maybe had to really step it up and say, like, I acknowledge, like, this is a dark time. This time needs me to be a leader right now?
I think early on in my career when I wasn't playing, I had to sit back and look at it from afar and just say, I'm going to keep working and I'm going to keep doing the things right to put myself in the best position possible for this team. And then I would say in the other way, I think one game that really sticks out is that Bengals Steelers game in the playoff. That was a crazy game. On defense, we're out there and, it's the last series. All you have to do is get a first down and it ends the game. I think we had a lot of guys on that team that preached, the game's not over. Let's give ourselves a shot. Let's, just give ourselves a chance. And Ryan comes up with a big strip. And then we go down the field. We get a couple penalties to go our way. And then we kick a field goal to win the game. I think it comes down to, being poised in those moments, understanding that you're in an adverse situation, but you're able to attack it. You're thinking, what can I do to change it? And if we do accomplish this, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win.
Who would you say is the greatest leader you've ever been led by?
Man, I've had a pleasure to be around a lot of great leaders, but they've all led in different ways. I've had leaders like Troy who didn't always say a lot, but let his work do the talk, and was never a headache to anybody, but he knew how to bring the best out of everybody. Or I've had guys like Brett Kiesel who are a little bit more vocal, but knew what it took to win. And, he backed it up with his words and his actions. The conviction he had, and still has, in anything he does, is exemplary. I strive to be like those guys. In college, I was, privileged to be around guys like James Laurinaitis and Malcolm Jenkins, who, no matter what people said about them, they were going to go out there and, put the best film out there, and dominate the opponents. They didn't care who they were going against. If they were going against a good guy, so be it. They got to go against them. So, it didn't matter who they played. They were going to make a lasting imprint on them.
It sounds like, from your experience, that the greatest leaders aren't the ones that are the most showy or the most vocal. What would you say is something that they made you feel? Like when you were being led by them, how did they make you feel?
I think inclusion is a big thing. Through it all, I can say when I've been led by great leaders, they've not only, led me, but they've included me. Whether it was making me feel part of this team, but then still challenging me in the same sense and making me feel like I owe this team a lot. And I, want to be a part of this, but I got to hold my end of the deal. And I think when you have leaders that, not only push you hard, but make you feel like, your one piece could be the missing piece to the puzzle, only benefits you.
So you're getting ready for the upcoming season, and you know it's going to be a tough season mentally and physically. For people that are in a tough season of life right now, how do you prepare mentally, physically for a brutal phase of the year?
Understanding that, preparing for the worst and preparing my body for a grind. These are all things I want if I want to accomplish my goals. My goal one day is to be a Super Bowl winner, to be a defensive MVP. These are goals I strive for. But to do that, I think you got to prepare. If you don't prepare, you're a fool. You're not going to accomplish anything. You're just hoping and wishing. It's one thing to dream, and it's one thing to think about it, but it's another thing to prepare yourself for it. It's another thing to give yourself all the tools you need to accomplish your goals.
Do you ever get discouraged? How do you deal with failure? How do you deal with playing in front of all those people and like you mess up? Do you ever feel like discouraged, bummed out, sad? Like what do you do?
Yeah. I tend to take it way harder when we lose. I think Coach T told me was heavy is the head that wears a crown. And, when we fall short, I kind of take it to blame more than anybody else. But with that, I give myself a day, usually to, feel sorry for myself and, say that, I'm the reason why. But after that, I say, why can I be the reason to change it around? I look at it as I may have lost that game, but how am I going to change this? How am I going to, better myself because of this? Through losses, you have lessons, and the best lessons are always taught in losses. So, given those opportunities, you got to learn to grow from it.
You don't blame others at all?
No, never. I think I blame myself before I blame anybody else. I've always been taught that it's easy to point the finger. It's better to, look at yourself in the mirror and understand that you have more responsibility than anybody else to any current situation that affects you.
In tough times, what's something that maybe is your North Star? What's your inspiration for doing what you do?
My inspiration comes from two things. My family, making sure I leave a legacy for them. I uphold them and I set the model for how my family should be in the future. I care too much about them to, um, to do this halfway and to maybe, take it easy. I want them to understand that dad did his all in everything he did, whether it was football or community, or being a father first, or a husband. I want them to understand and expect that in their lives as well. The next thing for my inspiration is, I don't want to just be good. It's one thing just to be good. It's another thing to be great at something. I think you have to get to a process to be good, to great, to be exceptional. And those are things I strive for. I don't settle, uh, you know, in anything I do. Every walk of life, I want to make sure I'm maximizing my potential.
What would your advice be to overcoming like negativity and discouragement?
I would say these times are different, and I think everybody's trying to navigate through it. We got to look to lead. We got to look for ways we can, help. You don't have to be an athlete to help. The worst thing we can do is feel sorry for ourselves. There are a lot of people dealing with a lot of unfortunate situations, but we have to look at it as, how can we help? How can we better this situation? There's going to be an ending point. I don't know when, I don't know where, but there will be an ending point. And what will we be at the end of this? Will we be better people because of it, or will we just stay the same?
So you were born in Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
Pittsburgh is home. Why do you think that Pittsburgh, why do you think that they've been able to adopt the leading in tough times mentality? Why do you think that we have such a spirit about us that we're not really shaken by tough times? What's your take on that?
We're a blue collar city, and we've had tough times before, but we've always seemed to not only bounce back but heal, and appreciate those who've been affected by different outcomes and different events that have taken part over the years. The greatest thing we've ever done, I think, is rally around each other and understand that we have to be there for each other. I have friends and family that walks in all different types of life, and I can never say that Pittsburgh wasn't there for them, because we always try to make sure we take care of our own, and that's the way Pittsburgh's always been.
What are you looking forward to most when this is all over?
Ooh,
What do you miss the most?
I can't wait to just go to the movie theaters. I know I've been watching a lot of movies, but to just go on a date again and be around people, to get those moments back, and then to obviously get back on the field and hear the fans again. I think that's going to be an awesome feeling, to feel like, wow, we have fans and they're able to cheer and everybody's healthy.
Yeah, I think the city is going to go nuts. We had to miss the Pens and now the Buccos.
Yeah,
But oh my gosh, Heinz Field is going to be bananas when we're all
it
there.
is.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you coming on and taking some time and hanging out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today. I'd like to thank my guest, Cameron Heyward, for being here. My name's Brandon, and remember to take care of yourself, take care of your neighbors, and I'll see you again next time.